We are live.
All
We've
right.
done it. It's finally happened. I'm here with Jim, and I am happy to be. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing all right, thanks, Chris. Lovely of you to invite me on. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I think it's something that should have happened a long time ago.
Yes, I think so. We're kindred spirits. We could be brothers, perhaps.
I think so. Well, and it's strange how many kind of life choices we made similarly. It's strange that we both went to Japan for a while, and we're out there. It seems like right around the same time.
Yes, I think it was the same year. We're definitely in the same country at the same time, and very close as well. If you were around Osaka, because I was in Okayama.
Okayama.
So yeah, if you go west from Osaka,
Okay,
Kobe. The next big city would be Tsuyama. You heard of that one?
Okay, so if you go a little bit south from Kobe, just tiny bit, that's where I was.
Ah, right. Okay, yeah, Kobe, yeah. So we were pretty close, a prefecture over, perhaps.
Yeah.
How long were you there? You were there longer than I was.
I actually I was there in spurts, and then I ended up getting married while I was out there. We did the whole Shinto wedding and the whole 9 yards, and I did kind of plan to stay out there. That was my main goal, but we ended up coming back here instead, and then eventually we got a divorce. But yeah, I think I was out there. I probably lived for about a year and a half total, but I went back there a lot. Like after we had my daughter, we'd take her up there to the in-laws and stay for quite a while and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'd say for about a year and a half. And I worked at a ramen factory for a while, where I had this machine that, you know how they're sealed, the ramen lids, those peel off plastic lids. I sealed those on by hand for hours at a time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you enter a Zen-like state doing that?
Oh my God. You know it's funny you bring that up, because I did. And those machines make a horrible racket. They are so loud. And I try to wear headphones, but you're not allowed to wear headphones. The Japanese are big on safety, at least in that case. They want you to be able to hear. So I just listened to this, and the machine suddenly started having like a rhythm. Like I started hearing this internal rhythm to them. And then I started obsessing over the lyrics to the Beatles song, Lovely Rita Meter Maid.
Oh, yeah.
Which I hadn't heard since I think I heard it when I was 13. I listened to it a bunch. And then I just forgot about it. I hadn't heard it for like years. And slowly, for I swear like a 2-month period, I was reconstructing in my brain all the verses and lyrics to Lovely Rita Meter Maid. That's like the most zen. And I sat at Yoanji and meditated and all these other places, but the most zen I think I ever got hours upon hours of this rhythmic machine noise, which I assume must have the same BPM as Lovely Rita Meter Maid, because I sat there and tried to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do? Like you were close to going mad there.
It might have been.
But I do like the sound of that, though. I do like repetitive tasks, I've got to say, because you can lose yourself. Your body does it. After a while, you start doing it. So I used to work for Royal Mail. I used to input postcodes and addresses before AI took over. And after a while, my hands were just doing it. And I was just left to do whatever I liked. So
yeah,
be thinking about all different things, listen to audiobooks. I was learning Japanese whilst doing it, or, kind of building on what I had already learned. So I found that, it was a nice place to be.
Now, did you work? So that was in the UK, right? Where you were working for the Royal Mail.
That's right. Yeah.
What did you do in Japan?
Well, so going over to Japan for me was quite an unorthodox route, really, because I was always interested in Japan. But at the time, I didn't have a degree, and so I couldn't go over there and teach English because they assumed that I was, I wouldn't be. They're quite strict, aren't they, over there?
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I couldn't teach out there when I was living
Right.
out there either.
Right, same. So I tried to do a TEFL course, so you can teach English over there, and I failed the entrance exam. So
not hard to do with Japanese tests.
I'm sorry.
Not hard to do with Japanese tests. They're pretty easy to fail.
Right.
Entrance exams out there. They're hard. Their tests are hard.
Yes. Well, I definitely found it hard. So, so what I ended up doing was I just got a working holiday visa. So I had to go up to London to the Japanese embassy and kind of make my case for it. And I went over there as a gardener.
Oh, interesting.
So but the thing is, my father is a gardener. Well, he was a gardener. He's retired now. I used to occasionally work for him, but I wasn't a gardener. But I went over there as a gardener. That's how I got in. But whilst I was there, I did lots of different things. So, I was chiefly a gardener. They soon discovered, because I was kind of doing a homestay for most of it with a family. I can talk about that later, perhaps. But I was there as their gardener. After about a few days, they realized I wasn't a gardener. So well, that wasn't brilliant, but I was doing other things: babysitting, teaching English to adults and children, children outside of school. I did some illustration work for the local newspaper, just odd jobs, really, all different things. It was quite interesting.
One of us just pretended to be the other one. Now, see, this makes more sense to me. Everybody says I look like Gandalf. You look way more like Gandalf than I would. I do look more like Saruman any day because my hair is so straight.
The straighter hair, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you evil there?
No. No, trust me.
No. It'd be nice to have a wand battle one day, though. You will.
Mine's old and overused. It doesn't work anymore.
You should see mine.
All right. Hey, Jeff's here. Hey, Jeff.
Oh, hello there, Jeff.
All right. Virgil says, so I'm understanding that to get a wizard's beard, you must go to Japan. Yes, that is one of the prerequisites.
Yeah, well, I don't. So when I applied for it, it was kind of touch and go as to whether I'd be allowed in. I think they were quite strict on the professions that you did as well. But I think gardening is held in quite high regard over in Japan as well.
My ex-father-in-law was a gardener.
Right.
That shit was serious.
Yeah. So you can imagine what they were like when they found out that I was just this bumbling barbarian that was just pulling up things left, right, and center.
Yeah, even the way they trim trees and like every park I'd go to, they'd have like these kind of bendy trees that they would build scaffolding to hold the tree up and all this different stuff.
Yes, I've seen those in some of the parks over there. Yes, I mean, it was on one of my first days. I was doing some weeding, and there's this border, and I pulled every fucking thing out of there that I could find. And the mother came out and said, "Where are my plants?"
Oh no!
I hoiked the whole lot out, but it looked wonderful. I thought it was just nice bare earth. It was very clean.
Yeah, that's hard. It's weird that there's a cultural difference between gardening when you get right down to it.
Especially when it's a gardener that doesn't know what he's doing. But I mean, one of the things I quite enjoyed was because we were right up in the mountains, we were surrounded by forest everywhere, but also lots of bamboo thickets. And the bamboo was slowly encroaching on their kind of area. They had quite a big area of ground. And so I would go around with a spade and cut the early shoots. And the spade would go right through them at the beginning. If you get a young one, it would just slice right through it. But if you get one that's starting to develop, it's like hitting a rock. But that was quite fun. But yeah, that was the main. Yeah, I enjoyed that, and strimming and all that kind of stuff. But I used to get eaten alive by the mosquitoes.
Oh, mosquitoes out there are bad.
Oh, it was
They're
awful.
really bad, especially the end of summer. My God.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 And
Not.
they go through your clothes even.
Yeah. And they have those little, I don't know if you ever had them, but they have these
Mhm.
weird little medicine bottles with like a soft, spongy top that you dab on every bite. I don't know if you ever used that, but
I
I
had
was
something similar.
constantly.
They used to give me this incense coil that I'd
Yes.
wear on my belt.
Yeah. The green one. They just burn
Yeah.
that incense. What it didn't work.
No, it didn't. No. And it absolutely stank. And some people would sleep with the devils. I think they even did that once. They said, "Oh, put one in your room," but it's bloody awful smell.
Oh yeah, they do not smell good.
Probably
Any
not good for you
sci-fi
even.
books that involve gardening? Triffids, perhaps.
Well, Triffids is there for sure. Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
I'm
a form of
thinking of
gardening.
an early Genesis song. Is when I think of sci-fi gardening, I think of there's a song called "The Return of the Giant Hogweed."
Oh,
When Genesis was prog rock, and that song tells the story of somebody bringing this hogweed to the Royal Kew Gardens, and it turns out they kind of get a life of their own and come out and destroy all the English people.
oh, that's like, is that like it's like an invasive species? Like
Yeah,
Japanese, not something Japanese, something not weed or something.
yeah,
Not
that's
weed.
what
Yes,
Sephiroth is saying. Hope he didn't bring back any Japanese knotweed.
that shit is terrible.
I'll tell you what, though, walking through those bamboo forests, I always wanted to go into the forests in Japan,
Mm,
and all my in-laws and all my friends were like, "You can't walk into them. You can't. They're
mm.
if there's not a trail, it's impenetrable," and it is. It's
Yeah.
insane.
I couldn't believe that. So yeah, we used to go on walks into the forest, but some of these bamboo shoots were like telephone poles. I'd
Yeah,
never seen anything like it. Rock hard, like they're made of steel.
yeah,
But yeah, you're right. They grow so densely sometimes that you get you're trying to find your own path and there's nothing. You can't get through it at all. So I was up against that kind of scenario. You could only go so far knocking down these bamboo shoots before you reach the wall.
right.
But they do look beautiful, I must
Yeah,
say.
and they grow fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't that? I mean, I don't want to get too dark here, but that wasn't that a form of torture?
yeah,
Yeah, putting bamboo shoots underneath someone lying
and
on the
then
floor.
yeah, just tying them there, and they grow through them or whatever. Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, nice Genesis reference there, Dagon Studios. Jeff says it's fun to hear us reminisce about living in Japan. Jeff's out there right now in Osaka, so
yeah,
he's near where we both were. It sounds like.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Osaka Castle. That was fun. That's where all the tourists go.
Yes, yeah. I went. I don't know if I went in that one. I went to a few different ones. Himeji's lovely, isn't it?
Himeji is incredible, man. I wish I
Mm,
had pictures on this computer I could throw up really quick. Look up Himeji, Himeigai, I believe.
yeah,
It's amazing, amazing castle. Yeah, that's fun.
yeah. That's for me. That's when you think of a Japanese castle. That's the devil.
Yep.
It's an absolute beast and so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. How does Jimbo feel about people reviewing his book on YouTube?
Well, yeah, so I think he's referring to so Tim reviewed one of my books
Yeah.
recently. It was really lovely of him to do. I didn't even know he bought it, let alone was going to review it. So it was a very nice thing to do. I still haven't watched it just because you get that feeling where something you've released into the world and someone's talking about it, even if
Right.
I know it's going to be positive about it, but I just feel a bit funny about it. But I will watch it eventually.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely of him to have done it in the first place. And I sold some copies off that as well. Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, bloody lovely chap, that Tim. Anyway, who else wants to review it? I'm only joking.
I'll tell you what. So we're doing. Jake has put this all together, but Jim and I are both going to be part of an anthology that's coming up of YouTubers that are also writers. And I really was blown away by yours. It was really incredible. It feels like something that I would just talk about on the channel if I came across it. It was so and I don't want to give too much of it away because it's coming out soon, but it started out so small and so meaningful in its way to two people, right? A couple. And then it had implications that went all the way to the ending of the universe. Like, that's how big this one short story is. And it was really incredible. You guys are going to love it. Yeah, I broke up with writing. It's so strange because I think that, like, people can talk about like how I mess up on YouTube if I get information wrong. I can listen to people talk about that all day, but it's weird. Writing is a different story. It's like somehow more connected to you. So I understand kind of the fear of listening to people talk about your writing.
Yeah, I suppose it's an intimate kind of expression, I suppose. Not really of who you are, but I suppose your ability.
Yeah.
Mostly. I mean, you don't want people to think you're ridiculous. By implication, you're ridiculous as well for what you've written. But there is that fear. But I suppose it's the same when I used to be more of an artist. I suppose there's the same fear there. You know, you're putting something out, people are looking at it, and they're going to critique it in some way.
Right.
That goes with the territory. So I got used to that. But where writing's concerned, I was a bit more. I only started doing it about 10 years ago or 12 years ago, something like that. So it still feels like something that's a bit new, I suppose. Yeah, because I should have started earlier, really. But yeah, I don't know.
You got our chicken jockey man here. He took over from somebody else. This is an old tradition for this stream.
I've seen that come up before on your
yeah, when I did my first live, which I was super afraid to do. So I had Virgil join me, and then I got a hold of Jake, and he's like, let's let everybody join. And like everybody just was like, this is going live. Let's make him feel all right. So we had 6 people on there. It was incredible. But somehow I had just taken my daughter to see the new Minecraft movie. And so one of the first things we talked about on my channel live was the Minecraft movie of all.
Wow.
Oh, Matthew's here. Hey, Matthew.
Hello there.
We also have Constance. Hey, Constance.
Hello.
Oh, I'm the OG chicken jockey guy. Oh, okay. Somebody kind of took over for a little while and was doing it when you weren't around. So people have your back. They're making sure that it happens every time.
This is how cults begin.
That's right.
Humble beginnings. I've never seen the film myself. I don't expect I will.
You don't need to rush out and see it. I mean, it's the most Jack Black. It's weird. Jack Black himself has become a meme of himself. It's very strange.
Yes.
Yeah. It's odd. Here we are talking about the damn Minecraft movie again. How is it happening? Oh, so let me talk just for a minute about how I found your channel, Jim, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you some questions. So the first video I remember watching of yours, but this isn't the first one I saw. This is just the first one I can name, was when you did Lord of Light.
Oh yeah.
By Roger Zelazny. And I was either reading it myself or I can't remember. We both somehow ended up reading that at the exact same time. So I was excited to find that. But before that, I saw a video, and I don't even remember what you were viewing, but you were smelling books and doing the wood and all that. And you were wearing the brown robe, which is freaking awesome. And I feel like, because I've been thinking about this a lot since we talked about going live, like, what is it that makes me love to watch your content so much? And it's funny because you do book reviews. Somebody says wood. You do book reviews, but when I think about the stuff that I've watched of yours that I love more than anything, number one, it's the radio show. The radio show is an absolute blast. That was a really good idea, and I think so many of the people that are watching here too are always a part of that audience because it's so much fun. And then I think about like the earthworm video, which
Yeah.
is you with your nieces hunting around for earthworms, which when I originally saw that, I was like, what? And then I clicked on it and I had a really good time watching it. It was so fun. And then the video I think about that I've loved the most was the one that you were talking about, your job driving people to dialysis.
Oh, yeah.
And had all that car footage. That's incredible. And I think that you are, out of all of us, the person that has, I think, the most, or shows the most personality in your videos. I really do. I have a tendency to be very strict on exactly what I'm talking about in the book, whereas I feel like you bring a personality to this that, like I said, even my daughter loves your radio show, and is excited because of your unique style. I told you this would be uncomfortable to you before we started going live. So
I'm
yeah,
looking at the door.
Go ahead.
I'm about to run. I'm about to escape.
But anyway, yeah, I think that that you really people are drawn to you for your reviews, but also for all of the really kind of fun stuff and the deep stuff that you talk about. So what got you started doing YouTube? How old's your channel? How long you been doing this?
Yeah, quite a long time actually. So it's about, I think I'm on my 7th year, perhaps. So I started it. I was very, very naive at the beginning. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'd spent 4 years working on a book, my first kind of fiction book. It was a fantasy novel. It took me 4 years to write it, and so I was so invested that I'd saved up loads of money, and I took a year off to work on it to finish it off. And as
Nice.
part of that, I thought, right, I'll start a YouTube channel. I'll talk about my book, and I'll sell loads of books. that was the instigation. After about the second or third video, I thought, this is crazy. You know, no one wants to hear about something that doesn't even exist yet anyway. So I just started having fun with it, really. I just used it as, I suppose, a sounding board in some ways, and just a chance to do whatever I wanted and just fling it out. And so book reviews became a part of that. But it was because I didn't really know what I was doing, or I didn't really have much direction. The channel didn't really do anything. It kind of stagnated. I'd release something every week, but I think after the first year, I had about 60 subscribers. So it was purely a passion project. I wasn't really getting anywhere with it, but I just enjoyed doing it, I suppose. And if you see the first videos of me on here, it looks like I'm just out of shot. There's someone with a gun pointed at my head because I'm not really enjoying it. I'm like very, very serious. I'm nothing like who I am in real life. But then gradually I warmed up to it. And then I got to the point where this was the important point, where I just didn't give a fuck anymore. I just didn't care. And so I just thought, right, what the hell do I want to do today? I'm going to scratch some scratch cards dressed as a wizard.
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing. So that's what I'm doing now. And I just keep thinking of different things to do. And, you know, I don't want to get bored doing any one particular thing. But the book reviews are something that have carried me through, I suppose, because I love reading and I love talking about books. So, yeah, I think that's why we have some crossover, definitely, of viewers and that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody said, what kind of channel does Jim have? I'd say a booktube channel.
Right. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Absolutely. With fun stuff around the edges, like music channels and scratch card stuff. If you aren't already demonetized, gambling should get you over the line.
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing everything you probably shouldn't do, I suppose. But I mean, yeah, I've been quite lucky, really. I haven't had any strikes or anything. The only one thing I did have a problem about 4 months ago, and it's because I had used it was a Brian Aldiss novel Seasons in Flight, and it involved a coupling of three naked people. You don't see anything really, you maybe see partially a tit, but largely it was quite, it was just a book cover. But because I had used it for one of my thumbnails, I got a warning for that. So yeah, as long as the thumbnails have to be, quite tasteful, I suppose. But
Oh, well, I
yeah,
better be careful then. All right.
yeah, be careful with that. Just put a star over the nipple or something.
There you go.
There you go. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's I feel like we all go through that. All of our old videos look like hostage videos.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. I recently re-edited my first video for the Patreon and added to it, but yeah, I mean, my brother straight up just put the camera on me and was like, "Go!" And I'm just like, "Oh, it's Alan Parsons' project." It was really wild. It's scary. The first
It
video
is.
is scary. Give
I
me 1
think.
second. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to mute for 1 second.
Okay.
I am so sorry about that.
Oh no, don't worry.
All right, hostage videos. Yeah, that's right.
I think, especially for people of our generation, I think it's harder as well because we haven't grown up with, selfies and filming ourselves. I think it's a lot easier for younger people to step in front of a camera, but it took me a long time to get used to it.
Oh, I think this is something I wanted to bring up. Has anyone mentioned Jim's beard time-lapse video, how he became a real wizard? I did go back and watch that one. I found that one really interesting, where it looks like you did a picture a day for like a whole year of growing out your the Tales of Mystery and Imagination video. Yep, Joe, you got it. Yeah, that was interesting too. I think you've always just kind of done your own thing on YouTube, you know what I mean? Just kind of whatever you thought was interesting, which I think is what really works for your channel. I do.
Yeah. Oh, cheers. Yeah. I don't know. I just throwing anything at it really. I'm always getting ideas, but I don't always have the time to do them, I suppose.
Right.
And then the problem is so now I've got 6 weeks off. I start, I've got all this time, and yet I kind of slump then, because I suppose the imposed routine of my day-to-day work, my day job, when that goes, I kind of fall apart, and it takes me a while to get back into some kind of, I don't know, routine again. So my kind of mood goes down then. So I'm going through a slump at the moment. But I'll slowly get back in. But if I wasn't doing like YouTube or writing or painting, I would be a complete mess. I can tell you that in all honesty. I need something to do that's in some way creative. So that's what I tend to do, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're similar in that. I don't like to sit around a lot.
Right.
I like to kind of constantly be doing something. And before YouTube, for me, it was music. I made a lot of music, which now I use on my YouTube channel. But it's strange because YouTube kind of ended that. Like I think I was kind of getting done. I have a tendency to break up with art things. Like when I was younger, I was a painter for quite a while. Very terrible painter. And then I stopped doing that and was writing, and I went to school to be a writer, and then I did music, and finally ended up here on YouTube. So yeah. I agree. Freedom from work on days off is dangerous. Yeah, I like to. If like sometimes I can sit down and binge watch a show, but I start to get antsy about a couple hours in. I'm like, okay, this is not how I can spend my day. A couple of things I wanted to go back to: naked girls on the cover. I always go shopping with my wife, and she's always like, another one. When I pick up naked, there is a collection, 2 books, that is an anthology, and it's funny because everybody can find the second one, because the second one doesn't have any naked people on the cover. So I always see the second one. But Virgil at one point was like, I wonder if I can get a hold of this first one. And I was laughing because I knew that every mom out there was taking off these dust jackets from the because it very much has a very obviously nude woman standing on the front. But you can find the second one anywhere, and you can't find the first one. I can't remember what it's called. But I also wanted to talk about, yes, Jim's thumbnail game is next level. It's interesting because I've never had a thumbnail compliment that I can remember until I put up the thumbnail for this on my what's coming up, and then Steve Donahue of all people were like, that thumbnail is incredible, and I was like, yeah, I didn't make that thumbnail. It was an awesome thumbnail. You do make great thumbnails.
Oh, cheers. I don't know. I just do it. I'm just playing around with Photoshop. I just cut stuff out and, just collage, really. Occasionally I do a bit of digital painting, but it's very simple stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
I have to depend. I kind of, without saying anything, was like, hey, Jim, make the thumbnail, please. Because I can't. Virgil does all of them for the literally liminal, because I'm not as good at that. I've made one, and that was this one with the pin cover where I put Brian and Virgil and I all on there with the pin people, but that's all I've done. That's really it's hard.
Yeah, it's time consuming as well. I can do it pretty quick now, but I also quite like it when it does look a little bit rough around the edges. I think it's quite funny then, you know what I mean? It's if you polish it too much, I think it just blends in with all the other stuff.
Right.
Especially when people are using AI increasingly for their thumbnails, has that glossy look to everything. So I think things stand out when they are slightly dodgy, perhaps.
I think we're also lucky in that when we're reviewing books, we can just pick the best cover. That's what I do. Yeah. Because, I mean, I guess somebody could be like, you can't use that, but I've never had any trouble if it's the book I'm talking about, if I use the cover.
In fact, I really love your thumbnails because you crop them really nicely, so you're taking them from the cover, but the way it's cropped looks great as a thumbnail.
It's funny because I've just got it down, like you said, to this art that I if you look at all of them, you'll notice that they're always on the left. There's always some color over here with some words on it.
Yeah, well, that works, and I think you're using the golden section, Chris. I'm pretty sure you are.
Okay,
you're on it, mate.
Yeah. I didn't even know what that is.
Right. Well, rule of thirds. So you're using the rule of thirds. So it's more visually pleasing if you put something on that first line, the border between the first two thirds.
Okay. All right. I'm glad.
I think.
Not like you're a musician. Yeah, I'm an amateur that really liked sculpting noise. I played bass in a band, a little bit of guitar, but yeah, I'm not very good. I just got really good at putting stuff together, I think. Yeah.
What kind of stuff are you making then, Chris? What kind of music?
So I was in kind of a stoner rock band for a really long time. And then just on the side, my own stuff. I just like to do really kind of either synth or classical kind of stuff, instrumental, just the kind of stuff you see like the opening song of the channel. That's from one of my pieces, and just that kind of stuff. Yeah, the thumbnail for this is insanely good. Yeah, that's all Jim.
Right.
We're putting together our booktube band. Now we got a drummer. Joe can be the drummer.
I can be your dancer. If you need a dancer.
Yeah. I had a dancer. Stacia. I can't remember what her name was.
No way. Gotta have a dancer in the background.
Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
We do all seem to have quite a complex books music overlap.
Hmm.
Yeah, Jimmy, I think you go books to painting. As we can see behind you there, you have a very nice ass right there behind your
Thank you very
head.
much. Yes, my mother posed for that. It was dear of her to do that. No, it didn't really. But yeah, I think there's lots of bridges between these different things, really. And I think if you are involved in something creative, it's natural that you're also a reader, I suppose.
Yeah.
And people that just read books, whether you think you're creative or not, I think everyone's creative in some way. Just
Yeah.
reading a book is a form of creative. You're not inside your mind, you're creating stuff. Other people aren't seeing it necessarily, but if you start talking to other people about your interpretation of that book, that is a form of creation, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything to that. I can do keys. I'll do the weird percussion.
Right.
Sephiros, the probably the most talented musician here,
Yeah.
will do the percussion. We should probably have him writing the songs. I want a band mini concert. All right, we got to put it together. A cage dancer, says Virgil.
Yeah, I mean, this could happen.
That'd be crazy. Jim is Stacia from Hawkwind. Yeah, I'm telling you, we got to have dancers. And if you've seen the opening, probably Jim, I still think you have the best opening on all of YouTube. You know it. Jake at Pope Mortem knows it.
Well, yes. So Jake is quite a naughty boy, isn't he? Because
indeed. Where is he? Has he already said something in here? Did I miss him?
I think he might have been. I was watching one of his live streams, and just before it started, I saw myself dancing there.
Right?
Devil.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. He did a video and he finished up, and it just his end music was playing. So I scrolled down to comment, because you should always comment, even if you don't have much to say. You should always comment. And I was typing my comment, and suddenly I heard my own voice. And my brain melted, because I was like, wait a minute. Was I just watching one of my own? I thought I was watching Jake. Like, what's happening here?
Yeah,
I me with Tim as my cat.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point, Jim. I think Book, Songs, and Other Magic. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, and I watch your live stream whenever it's on, and I can't remember your name, and I feel like it starts with a G, and I'm very sorry. Yeah, I think that's a great point, Jim. If you read, you create the images in your mind, and it gives you author practice. Yeah, I feel like most of the writers I love were big readers. I think that's true. Yeah. My bulldog can dance or tip, heap, and stare at dancers. Nice. I like a bulldog. Give me just 1 second. I have to mute. I'm sorry. There's something going on.
That's all right. Yeah,
One
go
second.
for it.
I am so sorry about that, guys. I love Uriah Heep. That's really awesome. Uriah Heep, I feel like, is a band that I kept trying when we were doing our wizard battle, Jim, to get you to play Uriah Heep as an English spell. Or a European spell. Yeah, I that band, I think, is really underrated. They're really fun. My stepfather was a musician, and he loves them. So I grew up with Uriah Heep.
So yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that. I do find it hard to keep up with there's so much going on. I'm bloody terrible at it.
Well, it's I was just talking to Virgil about this the other day. Being the comment person, I have to read all the comments, and I'll miss what my guests are saying because I'm reading comments and getting comments up. And you're doing all the parts on your own. I bet it's chaos over there.
It is stressful. I mean, afterwards, I'm like completely wired after that. So I'm like lying in bed, like fucking completely. I can't sleep. It takes me ages to get off sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure because you're also trying to find music.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, because I mean, I use the old Spotify for most of it, but there's a lot that's not on there. So then I'm going to YouTube. YouTube has everything on it, so
Yeah,
that's a safe bet. But I don't have ad blockers or anything. So there's always fucking adverts
yeah,
popping up. So that's another layer of stress. And then in between, I don't want it to be quiet, you know. So I'm
right.
trying to talk over the whole bloody thing, and yeah, that's the stressful bit, I suppose.
Yeah. Yes, Gareth. Good to see you, Gareth. I gotta come onto your show one of these times and do my top 10 films. I think you invited me at one point, and I really do want to do that. Jake was here somewhere. He also has a clip of Jimmy saying just a little joke that he uses on occasion. That's true. I have seen that one. Just a little joke.
Yeah, he's a devil. Yeah, you've got to be careful what you put on there. I mean, some of those live streams, I do get a little bit wild sometimes, and I think he's got a few clips that he hasn't popped out yet that could be a bit dodgy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know he has a folder of all of us that he just throws all these clips in there.
He rolls the dice, and
yeah, that's right. Uriah Heep, Curved Air, learning more musically about Chris. Yeah, I had you can still find it. I had a channel, Liminal Spaces Talks Music, which was a side channel that I did for a while because I like talking about music. Jeff says, what? Jim got up out of his chair before Chris. I try not to get up as much when it's just me and another guest because I don't have Virgil to fill in the space for me while I go rummage through my shelves.
Yeah, I had to get another beer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Live streaming it's kind of late for you, isn't it, out there?
Yeah, it is a little bit. Well, it's 20 to 11 now, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, let me know when it's past your bedtime.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, no problem.
Gareth says live streaming is hectic but wonderful fun. Gareth recently put up a little concert live stream. If you want a mini concert, that's the place to go. I think Gareth is a music teacher, if I'm remembering correctly, and he and another fella just did a little concert on his channel.
Wow,
it was really really well done. I enjoyed it. I listened to it while I was working. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you about this. Well, I mean, I spend a hell of a lot of time on YouTube just watching stuff. I mean, it's my main form of entertainment, really. But it's trying to find the time, you know, because there's so many things or so many channels that I follow. I tend to listen to them more than anything. I'm not always able to watch them. If you know what I mean? So if I'm painting or something, I'll listen to it more often than not. But it tends to be the things I like are long form conversations with people or just talking about one thing.
Yeah, agreed. I'm the exact same way because I'll be listing stuff on eBay or grading papers or whatever. And yeah, I just like it going in the background and I listen. I still get it. But I don't see a lot of it. The person that I make sure, actually, I try to watch yours directly. But if it's a book review, I don't watch directly. But I always try to watch Pulp Mortem stuff just because there's a ton of visual humor that he adds in there.
He's so good at the
he's
choosing the clips. It's so well edited together. Really, really funny.
Yeah.
I was impressed as soon as he came on the scene because I was an old man by then in terms of YouTube. But I didn't have a following, of course. But I appreciated how much effort he was putting in and how well it was edited together. And how well he spoke as well.
Well, he scripts it out.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Wow, I never do that.
I've done it before, but it takes so bloody much time that it's easier just to try to do it off the cuff. But that's tricky as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys like songs that have been inspired by Elric of Melnibone? I mean, I don't know a list of them off the top of my head, but I love Hawkwind. and I know they did a ton of that kind of stuff. But I know Tim will be able to list like 12 more.
Yeah.
Tim's the king of that kind of music, man. I enjoyed the music of Yes because it often evokes the same vibes as reading sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, I agree that an early Genesis has a kind of a sci-fi feel as well.
Yeah.
I'm confused. I've always dreamed about doing a radio show. Then I see you do this, but isn't it illegal on YouTube? How do you do that without the wrath of YouTube? That's a great question.
Okay, well, basically, I've found that you can play pretty much anything you like and nothing happens. So I'd say there's 1% of songs. So AC/DC, don't touch any of that. But other than that, pop it on and it'll be fine. The worst that'll happen is that when you finish your stream, when it becomes archived for the next day to be seen by other people, those songs will have to be cut out if there's any that don't allow it. But it's very rare for the stream I do, the music one, to be knocked down. The only times it normally happens is if I've used a video clip that has some kind of copyright holder, but you'll be fine. If you want to do it, just do it. It'll be fine. Yeah, the worst that'll happen is that most of the time, the things that are flagged up is that the songs can't be seen in Russia or Belarus. Other than that, the rest of the world is up for it. And of course, you can't monetize it. So as long as you don't want to make any money from it, just go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think many people do that. Or they don't know that. They don't even touch it because they think, fuck, I'm going to get a copyright.
Well, when I did Liminal Spaces Talks Music, one of the major complaints I got is that I would do these huge, like, deep dives track by track into these albums that I freaking love. And I wouldn't put any clips of the music. And everybody's like, and my response was, go look it up on YouTube, dude. It's like one step away. Just look it up. But it's because I was afraid of being in trouble.
Yeah.
Welcome back from work. Andrea has the coolest job ever.
Oh,
she's a antiquarian librarian.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. The other fellow was my son. All right. Well, you guys kicked butt. I think you were both playing the guitar. If I remember, you were doing kind of acoustic and your son was doing some lead. It was cool.
Nice.
Ralph Bashke's 70s animation Wizards. You remember that one?
I don't think I've seen that.
I saw it recently. It's got a very funny ending. I loved it as a kid. That's the one with Fritz. You killed Fritz. It's didn't he? I think he also did some of the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Oh yeah,
some of the rotoscoped cartoons.
Oh, that was a wonderful film.
Oh, okay. Here's a challenge. Name a book Chris doesn't own. I own a lot of books.
Oh yeah, you said back along. You counted them up because you were having a book battle with Jake.
Well, that was just my science fiction paperbacks. Yeah, that's one corner of this. I didn't count any of these, and then I've got antiquarian. I hope my house isn't too dirty for this. Oh no, I can't turn this. I have to turn this. Let's see. Over here is my antiquarian. That's where all the really old ones are. And you can see I like bowling up there.
And the sword, the mighty sword.
Yeah. There's the sword I used for the Elric video.
Is it like a replica of a famous sword, or is it?
I don't know. I got it at a yard sale, or I guess you guys call them boot sales, or I got it for like I think $10 at a yard sale. I mean, it's heavy. It's not sharp, but
you might be the king of bloody England and not even know it.
No, I read there was something that came out that I read recently that said some young girl in England found a sword that was stuck in a rock, and she broke the rock away and pulled it out, and everybody's like, well, all right, you're now the Queen of England. Well done.
I think that's fair. Yeah, make her queen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Yeah, I don't think it's Gareth. I don't think it's that big of a deal from what I can see. And I feel like it's different with streaming, but like if the video, like the one time, so this is really funny. I used one of my own songs, but it was from the band I was a part of. And I put some of that at the beginning of one of my videos, and YouTube instantly got it for copyright. So I called kind of the one of the other guys in the band, and he had put it up on a service that made sure that it was never. So I basically had to take that part of my video out, even though it was my own song. I had to take that part of my video out because this company that we paid to make sure that nobody copyright, which I never cared about, but apparently he did. So if you're going to get a copyright claim, I feel like it's going to happen on not on live stream, but on videos that you record and upload. I think it happens before you upload the video. I think YouTube will catch it right away.
Yeah, I don't think they can check it quick enough when you're streaming. I think there's so many people streaming. They might improve that, but certain things get flagged pretty quick, and then they will drop you.
Yeah,
they only drop you for about a minute, and then it goes back up again. But I think it's so. For example, the one that I did with I did clips of the fireball going across, which was a clip from Deep Impact.
Right.
So I'd seen that. Well, I do a kind of cursory check that, excuse me, if other videos have used a clip, I think it's fair game. So, you know, there can't be any problems with the copyright. So I used that clip. And what had happened is that same clip was used on an Indian soap opera, which they had put on YouTube and monetized it. And so YouTube thought that they owned the license for that clip. So I disputed the claim and it got reversed. But I wouldn't use it again in a live stream just because it would probably trigger it off again.
Yeah, how many times? That one went down twice, I think.
Yeah, because I was slinging that fucking fireball.
Yeah. In time with the music. It was badass.
Well, sometimes it worked really well.
Yeah,
if I got it just right. It was like,
right when it kicked in. Yeah, there is one on my channel, Gareth. I do a full book tour, just with my iPhone. And Andrea's right. I don't have an original Weird Tales magazine. I mean, that shit is hard to come by. They're so cool. Let's see. Is that a Claymore Scottish sword? I don't know. All right. I'm going to get up for the sword.
Whoa.
Let me see.
It's happening.
The wall. It's not easy.
It's going to slay an orc in a minute. I can feel it.
I don't know what this is. I got it at a yard sale. I mean, it's heavy. It's real metal. It's got leather wrapped around there. I don't know. Tim? I feel like Tim would know more about it than I would, but I couldn't let it go. And there's one sale something that I didn't purchase that I really regret. Before I had a YouTube channel, I went to a yard sale and there was a guy there that was selling a wizard hat. Ooh. And like this thing was quality and was perfect, and it was so cool. And he wanted like something like $10 for it, which I should have done. I mean, I could have won it on half the videos I do, and no, I don't. No Blade of Grass. So, Booktuber asked, does Chris own No Blade of Grass, The Dead Grass, Sanyaud? No, none of it. I really want No Blade of Grass. I don't have that one. I don't have The Earth Abides, which is another one that I'd love to read. Strange Women Lying in Ponds Distributing Swords is no basis for assisting government. That's probably in reference to us talking about that young lady becoming queen.
I think it would work quite well, actually.
Yeah,
can't be any worse.
Yeah, Gareth had the same thing where his own song gave him a copyright strike. Okay. Oh, yeah. Virgil says Evangelion music brought him down. Yeah, it's strange, and it is bots. Tim is right, and I don't know how the bots even work.
Maybe I've been extraordinarily lucky.
Yeah. So you do mainly sci-fi, I think, on your channel, right?
Yeah, almost exclusively.
Is that your favorite genre?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you, is there are there other genres you like beyond that you ever think about doing?
Well, so I do read. I read outside of science fiction quite often. I don't always review it. That's the only thing. So I like I read quite widely. I like everything, really, a bit of everything. But science fiction I always come back to science fiction, and I suppose I've got such a long list of books I want to read, and they all happen to be science fiction typically. But yeah, just strange. Like you like Murakami. I went through a phase of reading loads of Murakami and some other Japanese authors.
Can I ask your favorite Murakami? Was there one that stuck out for you?
Well, my favorite used to be South of the Border, West of the Sun, just because at the time I was a bit of a hopeless romantic, perhaps. That's completely gone now. But yeah, I quite like the tragic nature of that in a way. But the one I absolutely love is Wind Up Bird Chronicle. That's my favorite, I would say.
I would love. So it's I've done a couple of huge deep dives of Murakami on my channel, and Wind Up Bird Chronicle is one of my favorite books at the time when I read it. I just was so engrossed. It was so incredible, and I'm afraid to do a deep dive on that one.
Oh, I see.
Know,
right.
I don't know how it would work. That is such a weird story, and I don't know. Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna
to encapsulate. Yeah, there was so much I loved about it. And well, one of the things I love about Murakami, generally speaking, is the banality of a lot of the day-to-day stuff, what they're eating or going for a walk around here. A lot of it doesn't really have much bearing on the story itself, but it's there. And I love it for that. But Wind Up Bird with there's so really good imagery and all ideas like the well, for example,
that well stuck with me for so long.
Me too. In fact, that's one of the things that are vivid. Whenever I think about it, I think of that well.
Yeah.
And there's some very unpleasant stuff as well. I remember.
Yeah.
But
there's a torture scene that's so hard to get through.
In fact, so I said to my wife, this is when we were first courting, if you will. And I said, oh, this is one of my favorite books at the time. And so she started reading it, but she got to that part and didn't want to read anymore. I mean, it was
understandable. There's a part like that in Kafka on the Shore with the cats that is so hard to get through. Just so hard.
Yeah, it is hard. But I just like the whole assemblage of the weird, the horrible stuff, the really lovely stuff as well. It's such a wonderful mix. And of course, because I've always loved the Japanese culture and used to live there and everything. I always come back to it for that reason.
Yeah. I just finished, this is Sweet Violence, says I just finished Coin Locker Babies. It was crazy and excellent. Saw a lot of parallels to Haruki Murakami's work. So this is a book by Yu Murakami, who is a different Murakami, not Haruki Murakami. And I read Coin Locker Babies when I was in Japan, and it is one of the most effed up books I've ever read. Like dark, but I really loved it. It was really, it's weird. It's the only book that I might have already said this. I feel like this is something I've said in a live stream before. It's the only book that I felt like captured the concept of how human beings long for something in their youth that they don't know what they're longing for. Like something from before our memories start. There's this thing that we're always trying to get back to. That book deals with that incredibly. Really,
that's interesting.
Really, really wonderful. The wells in Wind Up are wonderful. Lots of turbid pool imagery in Kafka, but much more thoroughly realized in Wind Up. I think so too. Basket hilted broadswords are called claymores too. Okay. This is a basket hilted Broadsword, maybe, or maybe it's just a broadsword. Struggled a bit with Murakami. His sex scenes are really cringe. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. He's a little bit of his time, and even maybe a little weird for his time. Like every once in a while, that kind of stuff does have a tendency to pull me out. I get very used to it though because I read a lot of old sci-fi. So I mean,
yes,
you're always going to be reading. And go, what the hell is this now? Why is this happening?
I know it sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? It's completely unnecessary most of the time. Well, always, usually. And you can just, what is it? I heard someone say that if you're writing a love scene or a sex scene and you think the author is touching themselves whilst writing it, you've gone too far. And
right.
Yeah, that can be the case, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I agree with you, Geeks Love Dogs. I love horror movies from Korea and Japan. Absolutely incredible. I don't know. Do you know a book called Leolo? I don't.
No.
Yeah, that was a hard scene for me in Kafka on the Shore. All right, let's see if I can. Oh, good. I'm going to get off of Murakami here for a second.
Yes.
Sounds like Glasner. We have craving desires that are vague and lack names, but we learn what things are that fit that craving. Interesting. I don't know what Glasner is, but I think you're talking about this concept that we're all longing for something that we can't name. I think that's true. It's weird. Like my obsession with liminal spaces, the reason I called it liminal spaces is because ever since I was a kid, I was an explorer, and like, you know, old barns and all that. When we go camping, I was the first to be like, I'm going to go walk around the lake or whatever and try to find the kind of weirdest, most out of the way places. But I don't know what's at the core of that. I don't know what I was looking for. You know what I mean?
I suppose we were talking about J.G. Ballard, weren't we? Concrete
Oh, yeah.
Island. That's literally set within that kind of space, isn't it? Between an intersection between that
Concrete Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such
You said that.
Idea.
Yeah, you said that one was your favorite. It's the only one that I've read, and I absolutely love it.
Ah, right. Yeah. I mean, it's some other stories he wrote had a similar kind of feel to them, I suppose. But that one I absolutely loved just because it was kind of self-contained within that small space that is largely, no one even thinks about those spaces, let alone inhabit them. So I thought it was a wonderful idea to, have that drama playing out there. Oh, House of Leaves. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked half that book.
Have you read it, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. Speaking of liminal spaces. Yeah. The idea of this house getting infinitely bigger that they eventually spelunk into their closet was genius.
Wow.
Genius. It was some of the best shit I've ever read. Unfortunately, the other half is written by somebody else, and I know it's one author, but it's just him reliving his drug days is how it felt to me. And I just didn't. I liked the half about the house way more than the other stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
But boy, that house was so scary.
Wow.
It was so good.
Yeah, I just struggle with the unorthodox way it's all over the place, isn't it? I think I would struggle with that, the way the text is displayed. It's like spirals and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's quicker to read than you think because so many pages will just have one line and that kind of stuff on it.
I like those kind of pages. Yeah.
Oh, Leolo is a French-Canadian film with dark magical realism. Okay. Dr. Blood Money. Somebody's reading Dr. Blood Money. I haven't read that one yet. Somebody did recently, though. Who read Dr. Blood Money recently? Ira. Ira recently read that one. I don't know what book they're talking about. I'm sorry. Scotland is so wild. I just remember going to castles and some would basically be located next to an apartment complex. We have nothing like that in the US. Yeah, it's very true. We have to drive for our ruins. We have to drive. I went to I spent one evening in Glasgow, and then I had a buddy with me. Right after I was done teaching in London, my buddy came down, and we just took a week up in Scotland and went to Inverness and Stirling, because that's where we could do the most tourist crap. We went to the Loch Ness, or we went to Loch Ness and rode on a little boat and all that. But the real fun was I got tattooed there. That was really fun.
Crikey.
Yeah, there was this in Stirling. So whenever I travel, I like to get a tattoo locally, and I get them all on my chest and my stomach.
No way.
Yeah, so there's tattoos under this, but
are they all runes?
Well, I try to get something that connects to the place that I am. So in Scotland, I walked into this place and I was like, can you tattoo a thistle on me? And he was like, yeah, I can draw you a wee thistle, he said. And he did a couple of thistles on my stomach. And he was hilarious. And we took a picture afterwards with him standing in front of his tattoo parlor in either Inverness or Stirling, I can't remember. And he threw the shocker like this when we took the picture. And then afterwards he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like as I was doing that, I was like, what if your mom's look at this picture? And he was so worried about that. But the first thing I did in Scotland, is I walked into a bar and there was some kind of badass post-rock band playing. And I was like really getting into the music. And I turned around and ran into the biggest fella in the bar and spilled his beer like all over the dude, like my first thing I did in Scotland.
Christ.
And I was like, fuck. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Let me buy you a beer. And he's like, oh no, don't worry about it all. Let me buy you a beer. And we hung out with that guy most of the night. And he was like the nicest fella. Nice. I mean, that was the best way it could have ended up, because I thought I was done for. I thought it was over. And when we first got there, my buddy was going for the Italian team in soccer or football, and he wore this sweater, and all the Scottish people were yelling from the cars, calling him all terrible stuff for wearing that.
It could have been worse.
I had a shitload of fun out there. All right,
he could have been wearing an England shirt.
Yeah,
then it would have been he would have had trouble then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Italy had won the World Cup that year.
Right.
Now everybody knows exactly when I was in Scotland. The Day of Creation by J.G. Ballard is liminal and trippy and a very deep critique of colonialism. Ooh, that sounds wonderful. I'll have to check that out. I read Concrete Island, and then I didn't realize I'd read any J.G. Ballard, but I had. He has, I think the story is called The Drowned Giant.
Oh yeah, short story.
Yeah, I read that one in college, and I remember being completely intrigued by this idea. I mean, it's such a strange story because it's magical realism in the sense that like it's never explained where this giant came from or what the deal is. It's just this big ass dead body rolls up on the shore, and they have to deal with it.
You know, I think it's on Netflix. What is it? Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah,
they did an animation based on that.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah, quite nice.
Oh, interesting, Ronnie. I don't want to talk about this too much because it doesn't have anything to do with Jim, but I'll be honest, I'm having a slightly hard time getting into that book. I guess I need to keep reading. So we're going real slow through that, but it will be happening. Let's see. Chris's torso can be used as a wizard's grimoire, apparently. Yeah. Well, when I was in Japan, I got one of these traditional bamboo tattoos. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really fun. And apparently the stomach is one of the most painful places to have tattoos, but it never bothers me. When I was the Scottish chap that I was getting the tattoo from was like, does this cause you any pain? And I was like, I mean, it feels like you're rubbing a little bit too hard on one spot for too long, but not really. And he was like, wow. But yeah, I've always just been, needles don't bother me. I like to watch the needle go in And I used to work for a school that had a nursing program, and they were teaching a phlebotomy. And I would go in constantly and do let them do phlebotomy on me until I scared one of the students too bad, and they made me stop because she was coming at me like shaking like this, coming from my vein. And I was like, should I like give a little yelp? And I was like, no, I totally shouldn't. And then right when she touched my skin, I gave out a yelp, and she threw back the needle and hit the tray, and all the stuff went everywhere. And then I wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
Oh. Okay. I absolutely hate it. I hate having blood taken.
Yeah, I think most people do. It just for some odd reason it just never, it just doesn't hurt. Like even getting like Novocaine for my teeth.
Oh,
Like,
right, that's good.
It just, I don't know why, it just never really bugged me.
That's a good skill.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I've got that almost completely immune to pain thing going on.
Yeah.
So have you seen the new season of Love, Death, and Robots?
I've seen a few of them. I haven't seen all of them.
Okay, you've seen the first one then.
Which one was that?
That's the one where the aliens come down and all the cops are there with the guns, and he open his cape, and he's got like this huge dong. And the cops are so freaked out they shoot it off.
Yeah. That was very clever.
That was my favorite one of the whole season. I'm sorry, it never peaks past that. It never peaks. This isn't the best season, but my God, I was rolling, just laughing. Oh my God.
It's really well done, because it was almost like it's a model, but it's all CGI, I guess. But it's like it's a weird aspect, wasn't it? You're like zoomed out.
It had like a robot chicken fill.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, those are Alice in Wonderland bronze statues. Yep. Yep, that was my favorite book as a kid. I loved it. You like horror at all, Jim?
Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah.
What kind of writers are you into for horror?
I'm going to mention a name here. Yeah, Stephen King, of course. But I've read him all through my life at different stages. You know, I read him until I get bored of him, if you know what I mean. Then, but I always come back, if you will. So some of my favorite horror has got to be Stephen King. A bit of James Herbert, Clive Barker.
Oh, Clive Barker.
Oh, was that Richard Lehman? I've read a couple of his.
Richard Lehman. So I always confuse Richard Lehman with another guy. Is Richard Lehman the one that did the Cellar? Some kind of weird monster house.
It could be him. Yeah. I haven't read that. It's very intense.
Yeah, he's kind of a little bit into shock, right?
Definitely. I mean, I think you were talking about it on one of your live streams recently, and someone was talking about The Island. I think it was Brian talking about it.
Yeah, probably Brian. Yeah.
I found that really shocking when I first read it. I mean, I was quite young when I read it. I got it from the library, my town library. Brought it back, read it, and I thought, fucking hell, that shouldn't even be in the library. It's bloody horrible.
Yeah,
you know, just bloody vile, really.
Yeah,
but there we are.
Piers Anthony wrote one horror book, and that's a book that I shouldn't have read as a kid. It was so disgusting, so vile.
What's that?
Piers Anthony, of course, huge fantasy, like young adult. He wrote a horror novel, and I was super excited because horror was my favorite thing, but I really liked Piers Anthony, Incarnations of Immortality. The only real fantasy that I got into as a kid, like as a teenager, I liked stuff as a kid, but I went all horror as a teenager, but I liked and he came out with a horror book, so I was super excited. I went and bought it the day it came out. There is shit so vile in that book that I do not believe in censorship. I believe that books have a right to exist, but that thing I wish had a warning on it or something so that I wouldn't have read that shit. It was crazy.
Oh God,
that one was vile.
I'm not keen on when it goes that that way, really.
I think Brian's agreeing with you about the island, maybe.
Yes, yeah. It was. I mean, it moved me at the time because I was so young and naive, and I read it and I thought, fucking hell, this should be illegal. This is just vile. But I think it's cheap as well at the same time when you rely on that kind of shock.
Well, and I think Piers Anthony had a nasty agenda. I really do. Yeah, it was Firefly, Sephiroth. Yeah, that was. I read that when I was like maybe 13. Dark Tower. A lot of people have been asking me because I'm going through my Stephen King shelf. I only ever read the first one of the Dark Tower, and then I DNF'd the second one. And I know everybody says, well, you got to get to like the fourth one or the third one when it really starts kicking ass. But when I was a teenager, my biases were too strong. And I was like, why the hell is my favorite horror writer doing cowboy shit? And cowboy shit, like I grew up immersed in cowboy shit, right? Like everywhere I go, it's cowboy shit. So it was not cool for me at all. So I did not like it. Now I reread the first one a couple years back and enjoyed it thoroughly. Like there is some weird wizardry that goes on around that fire at the end of the book that was just so incredibly well done. So I think I am, for the channel, going to do a Dark Tower read. I think I will.
Yeah, I think you should, because it certainly, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of imagery and references to Westerns, but it's high fantasy, really, in a way. I mean, when they're going on their quest, there's lots of fantasy elements.
Right.
I mean, for me, Westerns have always been a kind of I don't know, something I've dabbled with, but it's not, it's something from over your way, of course. But I didn't mind that so much, but I know what you mean in some ways, in that when something's a bit too close to home, it pulls you, you want to escape into these worlds. You don't want to be reminded of something that you're already immersed in. Is it something to do with that, or?
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading the comments again.
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right.
So I think Richard Lehman was the author of The Island, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like did you read Eyes of the Dragon when it came out, Jim?
No, but I've seen the cover, and I've always wanted to buy the book just because it had a nice cover, or the cover I saw, but I've never read that one. Talisman, I've read that one with, is that no, sorry. But,
no, that one's with Peter Straub.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and that one I DNF'd as a kid. As a teenager, I was like, this isn't scary. Because I had a one-track teenage mind. I wanted scary, you know what I mean? But I did love Eyes of the Dragon when I was a teenager. That one I really enjoyed. I've kind of, if I miss one of your comments, guys, I'm super sorry. It's so hard to do all the comments and talk and keep everything going. A lot of people liked Eyes of the Dragon. Yeah, I did, and yeah, I feel like the first Dark Tower book, first off, it's a quick read, which is weird because it's Stephen King. But it is a quick read, and reading it a couple of years back, I freaking loved the insanity of making the main character make the choice that he had to make. Like that was crazy. Like he has to do a sacrifice that that I think if any of us were faced with, we'd hope we'd make the right choice. And Stephen King really asks, like, the gunslinger is the story, the one I'm talking about. Would this character make the right decision? And that one makes a very dark decision. He chooses his ambition over, I think, what we could say, moral goodness. You know what I mean? Yeah. Really liked Eyes of the Dragon. Eyes of the Dragon was good. It's been years. Agreed. I don't think. Isn't there like a bad wizard? Yeah. I don't remember much beyond that. How about that Dark Tower movie? I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it.
No. Are they? They're supposed to be remaking it again, aren't they?
Yeah, and this time they're getting the director that everybody really loves, the guy that did The Haunting of Hill House, Mike Flanagan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a shame, really, because I really like Idris Elba, really rate him. I think he's a wonderful actor, but I don't think it was his fault at all. It just looked like an utter shambles from the little I saw of the film. It was on TV once, and I was like, bloody hell, this is awful.
Right. Yeah.
Except the bit where he's loading his gun with the bullets, and it was doing it really fast. I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice. Cowboy shit.
Oh, yeah. But it was kind of supernatural, you know, the speed. And that's what I liked about his depiction of the character in the books, is that when he loads his gun, he's fucking loading that thing. But when you watch him do it, and when you see him playing with bullets, because he likes rolling bullets across his fingers, it's like, there's a bit of magic involved.
Nice. Kind of like David Bowie playing with his balls.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I know that the ending of the Dark Tower is a hotly contested subject, but I can't say anything about it because I never read to the end.
No, I haven't. I've only got it as far as the 4th book. I haven't got any further than that.
Yeah. Did you DNF it for any reason or just life? Or no, you read through the 4th book all the way through. Did you?
Sorry, you're talking about me. Sorry. Yes, I got to the 4th one and really enjoyed it, but I just liked having breaks between if I'm reading a series. I just haven't popped back in, but I do need to get to the 5th one. I think it's called The Wolves of something or other, but that's a big thick bugger.
The Wolves of Kala, I think it is.
That's it. Yeah. But I will definitely get back on that train. And there's a train in the it was the 4th book. Yeah. So incredible ideas. I mean, his imagination just really is. I mean, aside from the fact that I think he writes in a really engaging way anyway, but his imagination is incredible. Like across genres, you know, the science fiction that he writes when it occasionally crops up is pretty good stuff, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tommyknockers.
Yes. Yeah.
All I remember about that book is digging. That's all I remember. So much digging.
Digging in that one.
Tim, I appreciate Westerns a lot more now. I do. As I grew older, when I was young, I had to hate everything that was around me because apparently that's what we do when we're young. But as I've grown older, I've begun to appreciate the area I grew up in and all the history that happened here, especially connected to Western kind of stuff. I really like a lot of Western movies. The one I watched recently that I really enjoyed was The Outlaw Josie Wells, which is almost this weird Greek tragedy, epic quest thing. It was really wild. So yeah, I think I would, but it would have to be the weirdest Western ever, and I don't know what that is. So if anybody can tell me what the weirdest Western is, I will happily review it. Dark Tower is really a dark fantasy. I don't know what they're talking about Lewis here. Lewis somebody. Love Western movies, Western books, not so much. I kind of agree, Joe.
I've never read a Western ever, other than The Dark Tower, if you can call that Western.
Yeah. And people are saying that's really not much of a Western. It's more of a dark fantasy. So
yeah.
I know I just said it, but to repeat myself, but I've been reading horror all my life. By the way, I just want to say if I miss something you said, there's no problem at all. Just re-commenting it. That doesn't bother me at all. That's a smart thing to do. But I've been reading horror all my life, and no horror book made me take a pause like Goth by Otsuichi. Oh, wow, I've never even heard of this. Interesting. Is it like gory or creepy, or that sounds interesting? Yeah. Wolves is a fast read, says Virgil.
Okay. I'm a slow reader though.
So Blood Meridian. I had a buddy in college that was obsessed with Cormac McCarthy. Have you read any Cormac McCarthy, Jim?
Just Country for no, was it?
No
Old
Country for Old Men.
Yes, and The Road. I think that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I read The Road, and it really turned me off to any further Cormac McCarthy. Not because I didn't like it. I think it was beautiful and incredible and so dark. And I've heard Blood Meridian is like just really truly dark and
really,
yeah, like humanity. Yeah, I don't know. It yeah, I bring up Blood Meridian again as a dark, magical, realist telling, dark Western fantasy. Yeah, Josie Wells is a classic. Hell yeah, that's a good one. You know what's funny is I connect it with. So I love cars. It's probably the most manly thing that I'm into is cars. My dad is a wonderful mechanic, so I grew up loving cars, and I especially am a fan of Dodge Chargers and Challengers and all those. There is a movie about a guy driving around in a Dodge Challenger. It's a car movie, and it's called Vanishing Point. And this movie is also a weird Greek Odyssey slash what did I say earlier? I can't remember the word. Anyway, a tragedy. And for some odd reason, I feel like you could watch The Outlaw Josie Wales and then Vanishing Point, and they tell in a weird way a very, very similar story. Two disparate styles, but really, really interesting. I was so confused in my first trip to America. I was like, where are all the cowboys from the movies? That's because we all grew up in the cowboy shit. So I recommend any Western by McMurdy. They are all just wonderful. So I think he's the one that did Lonesome Dove, right? Everybody's giving me Western recommendations now. Yeah. Blazing Saddles is a movie I grew up with. I absolutely loved it. I think parts of it written by Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor was originally going to play the part of the sheriff. El Topo or Holy Mountain. I wrote some weird Western stories. There you go, Tim. I'll read yours. I like that idea a lot. That's a great idea. Okay, these are all Westerns. Jim don't want to talk about Westerns. That's an interesting. Maybe Jim feels the same of Arthurian legends as Chris does for Westerns. What do you think?
I'm going to surprise you all here. I mean, I do appreciate the Arthurian legends, but I've never really been into it that much, really. Of course, I love Merlin, but I don't know why. I think it's because when I used to read a lot of fantasy back in my teens, that's when I read the most of it in my early 20s. I just wanted escapism, like pure escapism. I didn't want anything that referenced the normal world that I understood or knew. So for me, Arthur was that part of that. You know, everyone knew about about Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table and Merlin and all that, and so that turned me off. I didn't want. Similar to you in a way, Chris, in that you steered away from Westerns perhaps when it intruded upon horror or whatever. For me, it was the same. So I didn't want anything like that. So, but I've come back to that a bit more. And of course, I love it's a wonderful story. And so I come from Cornwall, the most southwestern county in Britain, or in England specifically, and Tintagel is supposed to be where Arthur had his castle and all of that on the coast. Whether that's true or not, I mean, it's all myth, really, isn't it? But that's where they believe he resided. So yeah, I've been down there, and I got a bit of the energy out of the stones there, of course, but I didn't see Merlin. But he may have pounced on me a couple of times. It may have been him. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, maybe
stuff.
it is similar. Maybe it's the same kind of thing. Because when I was a kid, I read Mary Stewart's Merlin trilogy. I don't know if you're familiar with this at all, Jim, but
yes, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good. It tells the story of Merlin from his perspective, and man, I was obsessed with it.
Mm.
So I was into what you guys are surrounded by, and
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's kind of similar. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I was recommended that by an Italian friend of mine, funnily enough, but I haven't got round to reading it. But where I grew up, a small town, it's called Saltash, and that had an old Motte and Bailey castle just on the edge of the town from like the 1,000 years ago, and it was just there. It was just part of the scenery. Of course, now I appreciate it far more. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
amazing to have that history on your doorstep. But there, it's just part of the scenery. You just walk
Right.
down. Oh, it's field. There's a fucking great castle there. Yeah, it's just normal. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting that we are really blind.
Hmm.
You know, like I'm 3 hours away from where they shot Billy the Kid. And my parents would, every time we drive through, would take me to that museum. We'd look down the stairwell,
Wow.
see the bullet holes in the wall, and I was like, cool.
Wow.
And now I'm like, holy crap, that's some crazy history right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have some Ramsey Campbell. I have not read any Ramsey Campbell that I know of yet. Jim?
No, I haven't.
No.
No.
Yeah. The most haunting. This is strange. The most haunting piece of what I consider Western literature that I ever read was from, it's called The Professor's House, and it's by the lady that wrote Death Comes for the Archbishop. What's her name? Comments. Oh God, I forgot her name. I can't believe I forgot this person's name. Anyway, I'm sure it'll come up in the comments in just a sec. Who wrote Death of the Archbishop? Death Comes for the Archbishop. She wrote a story called The Professor's House. And there's this story about the professor. Who cares? I didn't like that as much. But in the middle, there's a story about people coming across Native American ruins, just some white cowboys coming across these Native American ruins, and having, like, being surrounded by this kind of stuff, living out here in New Mexico. Willa Cather, I that was close, but I get, Willa Cather is, I think, what you were trying to type there. Ghost Readers in the Sky, you kick ass. Thank you. But the description of these guys finding this place that is ancient and, these ruins that probably have ghosts all around was really incredible. It was so good. It was so good. The English say Arthur was English. The Welsh say he was Welsh, and the French say he was French. It's amazing how much that story went all around, all over the place. Like, there's a lot of French writing on, what do they call it? This, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of the French romance about King Arthur and a lot of the British stuff. And of course, I've always heard Wales.
And of course, he was also played by Sean Connery, so the Scottish probably have a bit of a say as well.
Well, I'm going to second your Italian friend and say that you might really enjoy the Merlin trilogy.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to get back on that. It's on my list of books to get, but it's a fucking huge beast of a list.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I just put up the 10 that I'm reading next. That video of all the stuff people constantly recommend to me is basically my TBR.
Yeah,
that's now I'm just going to pull them down and read them. Thinking about Jim's writing, painting, and YouTube. Creative is addictive. Do you binge certain artistic interests? This is from Richard Rempel, Vintage SF.
Okay. What was the question? Sorry.
So he said you got your painting and your writing and your YouTube. Do you binge these interests in certain times, or do you just do it all the time?
Interesting.
Equally?
Yeah. So I suppose when I'm working, I do my own stuff. So painting, writing, YouTube. they don't really butt up against it. They don't mix very well. Well, I could do YouTube and painting, or YouTube and writing. Those are fine, but I can't go between writing and painting. I've got to a period of almost a week where I transition back to the other thing. It's weird. I've tried to do it like running concurrent. So I'll write. I thought, right, I'll write in the morning and then I'll paint in the afternoon. It just doesn't work for me. I can't do it. It's a completely different thing. And by the same token, my interests in those areas, I suppose the main overlap would be, so I read a lot. I read all the time. So whether I'm painting or writing, I'm always reading. So that's the one thing that it's like a veneer over the whole thing. My interest in art, I suppose, I'm going to contradict myself again here, because I'm always looking at visual imagery. It's coming across painters specifically that I've never heard of, mostly contemporary ones, because I'm part of different forums and things like that. And it's remarkable how many artists that you've never even encountered before. Same with, when you're reading, there's lots of authors you've never heard of. So I'm always taking things, and then I'll take a screen grab of a particular painting I like, or I'll find their work and save loads of it. And I may never look at that again, but it's in my head then, I suppose. And that does influence what I end up painting. So, I dip in and out of everything. But when I'm doing my own stuff, I've got to very clearly delineate between the two, else I go mad, absolutely mad. I've tried it. It doesn't work. It's one of those things. I bet some people can do it.
Yeah, I have to. Well, like I said, I eventually had to break up with writing. But I have a tendency, when I focus on one, I focus real hard.
That's it.
And then can't get back around. A couple of people. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just feel as though if I'm not focused entirely on one thing, I'm never going to do it justice. It will always be half-hearted.
Right.
So I'd rather just fucking laser focus on something and do it to the best of my ability. Else you run the risk of being, what is it, jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing.
Yep.
That's a risk, a real risk.
Yeah. Are you I don't know, I'm hypercritical of my music and my writing, and will like start with a basic idea, more with music now because I haven't written in so long. And then it will morph and I'll work it to death, and it will become something else, and then I'll revise until. But I am real picky what that last, when it finally sees its light of day in the general public. I am obsessively picky about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same. In fact, I work in a similar way, both in terms of painting and writing, in that I start from quite I make it up as I go along. And with art, increasingly, I do a lot of paintings where I don't want to know where the fuck is going. I just want to start it and just keep working it until it becomes something. I find that more interesting than having a really clear idea of something. So something like the arse painting there. I mean, that's just, it's almost painting by numbers. You're using a visual reference, and you're trying to copy it, but you're doing it through your technique. So it's mediated by your technique, I suppose. But it is boring, and so I'd rather not really know where it's going to be at the end.
Yeah. Who was it? I think it was either Tim or Jake or somebody. Somebody was talking about there's two types of writers. There's seat of the pants and plotters, I think they called them.
Yes.
I think this was in the Discord for the anthology that's coming up, and I'm 100% seat of the pants.
Yeah.
In all my art, like I will sit down and just sketch out, like, I don't know, a character walking to an old barn, and then all the story has to grow out of that image. And I do the same thing with songs. Like, I'll just get a little progression or a tone or a sound that I like, and then I'll start building on to all that.
I think I've always adopted that approach, because, especially in writing, because I think you limit yourself by planning something out. Personally, I would, because everything that you write is more or less contingent on what you initially planned out. And I want a massive amount of breathing space as to where it goes. Also, if I've planned the whole thing out, I'll be bored writing it because it's, in my mind, it's already complete as an idea. So I'd rather explore it as I'm going along. So it's more interesting to me. I don't really know where it's going. That's my personal approach to that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can answer this without spoiling it, and if you can't, that's okay. So this story that you're turning in for the anthology, what vision was in your head when you started it? Did you have the whole thing mapped out in your brain, or did you just have an image? Was it the guy digging, or?
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. I think the initial idea was, yes, I could run into problems here, but
Right, sorry.
no, that's all right. That's all right. So the thing that causes the end of the universe, if we can call it that, that thing was in my mind.
Oh, okay.
The expansion. So the idea of expansion. So I've had nightmares before where, I don't know if you've ever had these kind of inexplicable nightmares. You can't explain them. They're not based on monsters or anything, but it's a concept and it's something that's impossible. So, for example, the size of the sun, for example, if you were right up close to it, just the impossible size of it, and then it getting bigger. You know what I mean? Have you ever had a dream like that? It just scares.
I haven't, but they sound terrifying.
Yeah, well, I used to wake up. This is mostly as a teenager, in my early teens. I used to wake up screaming from these dreams. And my brother, so he's 4 years younger than me, there's another brother between us. But we often joke that we are telepathically linked. A series of coincidences. We both think of the same thing, do the same thing, kind of thing. But he used to have the same dreams, and so he would wake up dreaming, screaming as well about, and he couldn't explain it. He used to say it's like something that's getting impossibly big but impossibly small at the same time. That kind of is really weird. So that was the genesis for this short story, just that idea. And then I thought, well, where would this thing come from? You know, where was it? And so that's when I started writing the beginning about, you know, how it's found, I suppose. Yeah.
You guys, when this anthology comes out, you have to grab this just for Jim's story. It's fantastic. And you can read mine, which has been very famously quoted by Jake from Pulp Mortem as, "This was really fun and it answered no questions." Mine is not worthy to go next to Jimmy's, but yeah,
no,
you guys, I think you'll enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it.
Oh no, I loved yours. So I was going to talk to you about that on here actually, because you were saying about your previous employment in Japan. There's a reference there in this story, isn't there?
Yes.
Similar. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering how much it was based on your experience of living and working. So that's interesting.
Unfortunately, I don't have counting superpower. So I just stayed in the dregs. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of it is. I like the idea of magical realism. To me, is this concept of you. It has the realism of a life we know, with these crazy events surrounding it. Like my life, you know, flying back to New Mexico was a very rough time for me after all the stuff that I had gone through. But nothing, of course, as cool or wild as what happens in the story. That's where the fun. That's where I get to make fantasy worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where the fun is.
Brilliant.
Yeah, this is Joe. It's a lot like a jam, and I'm a kind of a jam guy. That's my thing. And you're right. I never thought of it in those terms, but yeah, it's when I sit down to write, it's kind of like that. I just like I took so many years of school about creative writing, and one of the things that I got myself to that I never was taught was the idea that you should be the writer while simultaneously being the audience. And I don't know how to explain this, but this is what I try to do is
Mhm.
I am writing, but I'm also thinking to myself, what is the most kind of entertaining or strange or weird thing that can happen right here that's going to keep people reading on. Um,
Mm.
and I even let plot go just to have the weirdest things happen. You know, the
Mhm.
plot and some, you know what, we should do a live after we release this once everybody's read these stories so we can actually talk about them. I think that'd be really
Mm.
fun.
Yeah.
Like in the story, I leave tons of mysteries. I
Mm.
let my sister-in-law read it, and she was like, "So it's the beginning of a novel?" And I
Mm.
was like, "Damn it, no!" Um, because I just left everything open. But I tell you what,
Mm.
the concept of what everything is sucks. The
Definitely.
answer's totally fucking stupid, and
Mhm.
nobody will like it.
Yeah.
Um, so why answer it? Like everybody's brains going crazy, like what could this be is way better
Yeah.
than answering it, I think.
I completely agree, and I think the story you've submitted has that perfect balance, and I like things where it's almost like 90% of it makes sense. It's ordinary, or just banal. Even it can be. It's
Right.
like Murakami, and then
Yeah.
in the mix you get these little fucking little tweaks of the nipple that really you think, what the fuck's that about? But to explain those strange things would be a complete misstep because
Yeah.
you're left like when I finished reading yours, I thought I had an idea of what's going on, but not quite. There's lots of questions that come after reading it, but that's where it starts playing in your mind afterwards, and that's what you ideally want from reading a short story. I think the
Yeah.
problem some people make is when they make it so fucking weird that you don't
Right.
care. Yeah.
It's weird how much of a balance that is. That
Hmm.
balance is crazy hard to
Yeah.
achieve. It really is, because there's sometimes when I read a book and I'm like, no, that's just freaking nonsense.
Yeah.
Like there's you, and that's where I think the realism grounds it so strongly, is
Yeah.
you have to have, like you said, almost banal kind of through line of emotional character building,
Yeah.
regularness.
Mm.
I'm sure there's been a bunch of comments. Let's see. Uh, yes, to answer Sephiros, I do believe we've discussed that it's going to be
I think so.
physical media.
Yeah.
That's like I'm a big physical media buff, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that that's what we're planning. Yeah, I agree. It's weird. I have recurring
Mm.
about houses.
Ooh.
And it's really strange. Like when I was a kid, I'd dream of these houses that would go on and on and on, maybe another liminal spaces thing.
Oof.
But then I'm also three brothers, but the brother between Jason and I, he passed away when I was like 11.
Oh.
And then I started having dreams where like I was in the house walking around and then he was the house and it was in his chest.
Wow.
He had heart issues and like a pacemaker and everything.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. Dreams are so fun. They really are. I know that sounds weird, but it's really true. Like what you
Mm.
just said sounds scary as shit. Wrestling with a concept that's impossible for the
Mm.
brain to get around, but also so cool.
Mm.
And yeah, I think tapping into that. Like I don't dream anymore. I
Mm.
don't know what happened. I got too old, I guess, to dream. I miss it now. That's not 100% true. If I take is it melatonin? Melatonin, I think it is. These gummies that put you to
Oh yeah.
sleep.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
I will dream really vividly on those.
Oh, that's
Um,
good. Yeah. Yeah, I quite like dreams.
so it depends on the type of writer. Tim says neither are my stories. I don't know what that's in reference to. Somehow I can't
Mm.
get as weird as you two with my fiction. Yeah, and some people don't want to read the weird shit. I mean,
Mm.
it's so weird because um, I have a really hard time just doing a very straightforward plot. I had a buddy that was constantly writing science fiction. Not I do have a buddy that writes science fiction. It's coming on the channel soon. Not this guy, a different guy.
Mm.
and he's sending him these science fiction stories into like I guess analog. I don't know if it's still analog. Anyway, current science fiction stories. And he once sat down with me and he's like, let's just plan out your story. And I had this great story and we planned it out. The basic premise. No, I'm not going to give it away. Anyway, I had this great story. We planned it out step by step. I mean, we planned out the quirks. We planned out everything. All I had to do. And it's funny because when I teach my students how to write an academic paper, I have them plan out a perfect outline. So all they have to do is plug in the stupid paragraphs. It's easy. But when I made that outline, it killed it. It killed it for me. It killed it dead. I couldn't do it. All I had to do was plug in the stupid paragraphs and it was over when I outlined it to that extent. And I don't know why. I have no psychological reason to explain why that is.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of authors that work that way, and it works for them for sure.
Yeah. But no, I don't know if ever like being weird is something I've realized recently that I absolutely love, but it was never my intention back in the day. You know what I mean? I just happened to always end up writing weird shit. Yeah, I haven't read yours yet, Tim, but I'm excited. I really am. I think didn't Tim give us 2 choices?
Yes.
Yeah. So we get
I
to
believe it.
choose.
Yeah.
In a way, what Jim's describing reminds me of the horror of Thomas Ligotti and, of course, Lovecraft, that kind of existential shattering of the ego. Yeah.
That could be it. Yeah. I mean, I dream. I mean, a lot of my dreams tend to be unpleasant, I must say. But I've had some, I don't know what I believe in really in terms of paranormal stuff, but I had a dream 2 days before my sister was giving birth. And this was 3 months ago. And the dream was, so there was a hand or a head coming up, like distending her belly. And I was pressing the head back down. And I thought that was weird. I thought, and it seemed wrong in some way, but I didn't want to tell her about it because I knew her due date was coming up. And I thought, I was going to fucking worry her.
Yeah.
And then what happened was the birth was happening okay, but then there was a problem and a serious complication at that. And the nurse had to actually hold the baby's head back to stop it being birthed because the baby would have died. And it could have been bad for my sister. And it was quite a bad, sorry, I'm getting slightly, it was quite serious. And yeah, I think that was almost like a prescient, but I don't know what to believe. I think I was just generally worried for my sister because she was going through childbirth. And I know it's relatively safe these days, but you never know, do you? So,
right.
You know, so I thought, it's probably that, but it was so specific about a hand holding a baby back in, you know, it was quite weird.
Kind of prophetic.
I think so, almost. Yeah. Maybe.
Matthew's 7 Beauties of Science Fiction is a nonfiction book about sci-fi that talks about this phenomenon of the unimaginably large in SF and its relationship to the experience of wonder and the sublime. That sounds like it could be an interesting read.
Yeah.
I find it easy to get hard. I find it easy to get started.
Hello.
Damn it, Jake. But finishing anything is hard. Yes, I agree. I have a million novels that I've started, and you know they're all really awesome. But then I write myself into a corner, and I can't get out.
Finishing can be hard. Yeah.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde dreamt about the story. That's interesting. Great idea about the live anthology promoting the book. Yeah, I think so too. We'll have to bring it up to Jake. Have we checked out the Asian magical realist film Uncle Boon Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives? No, but it sounds awesome. I'll have to check it out. Jim, would you ever do a painting or painting tutorial video? You're amazing at it. I was wondering the same thing.
Oh wow, that's lovely of you to say. Well, to be honest, I did a little bit of that a couple of years ago. If you trawl back through the the shit heap of my channel, you will find a couple where I was trying to paint live. They're hours long and quite tedious and boring. I think there are people that are very good at doing these kind of tutorials. I kind of wing it, really. So I learned to paint. I taught myself how to paint before you could get tutorial videos on, before the internet, basically. So my technique is very odd. And so I don't know if anyone would learn anything by watching me do it. But again, if you go back not quite as far, there's other videos where I've done live streams where I'm just painting for about 3 or 4 hours with music in the background, just as a relaxing thing. You could watch that, I suppose, but you won't learn anything from it. Yeah, I actually just I just do it. I just do it. And I think if you do something long enough, you build up, I suppose, muscle memory of to a certain extent. And I find that my hands are able to do things without me having to think too much about it. But if I were to try to break it down as to why, I would flounder slightly. I know the basics, color mixing and how to layer certain things and what have you. But other than that, it would be shambolic. So.
Yeah, it's weird. I always think about because I feel like there is an audience for people just recording themselves painting.
Yes,
I think there definitely is, especially you put some like something like the stuff Sephiros makes or Atop or whatever, just you painting with like that kind of dungeon synthy type of stuff over it. But it's weird because I always think about how strange it is for a writer, how impossible it would be, like, hey, watch me write. But then I think about Harlan Ellison, like sitting in the department store window, writing that story, man.
Yeah. I heard that. Funnily enough, today I watched a video about it. Yeah, he asked for like key words or themes within the story, and then the bugger sat down and wrote the bastard out.
Yep.
With a pipe in his mouth.
Yep.
And then he was posting them up on the window, wasn't he? Page by page.
Yeah, I mean,
that takes some balls.
What an incredible idea, man.
Yeah.
To make writing somehow audience sport.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did dabble with this myself on the channel. This is another little thing I tried once. So my brother, he's a primary school teacher, and he gave me these dice that he doesn't need anymore. And the dice have different pictures on all the different sides. And you roll the dice, line them up, and you have to form a story using those images that appear in that order. So I did that a couple of times, live, and wrote a short story. But yeah, you could do something like that. I think that was kind of fun. Yeah, it wasn't, no one really watched it, but I don't think it was fun to watch. But I was writing it live, so that's
cool. So you've flirted with this idea.
Yeah. There's something in it. I think you probably would need to have an established audience already. I don't think it's the kind of thing someone would stumble across and want to watch. They'd probably need to know you, I think. Perhaps.
If Harlan Ellison wasn't like who he was, nobody would have watched that.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's still very impressive to be able to do that. He's doing it on a typewriter as well, wasn't he? So he wasn't able to make any mistakes or anything.
No.
Yeah, quite clever.
Unstoppable. You're talking about my favorite book in the world. I've read it over and over and over again in multiple translations. I don't know what your word is there. Murakami's Sela in Hard Boiled. Still have no idea what it means. Maybe that's the kind of purple nurple Jim's talking about. I really want to know what word you've typed out. You put it in parentheses, and I don't know. For some odd reason, I'm not able to bring that up, but I would love to talk about it. So, greetings, all. The mind is here. All right. Test the reality. Absolutely. It's nice to be in the midst of mystics. You guys are kind to us. Great chat. I got to go. Thank you, Gareth, for joining us.
Yes. Cheers.
Here you go. Your first draft is telling yourself the story. Some folks enjoy the initial setup and others like the fiddly bits of polishing. Yeah. I kind of like both when I did it.
Yeah.
I really did. I liked the
Yeah.
initial telling, and then I liked going back, because by the time I get to the end of whatever I'm writing, it's the front's wrong.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to go back and rewrite the front to match the end.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Same.
I dreamt last month to play with Richie Blackmore. Too much Deep Purple and Rainbow. Loved that dream. I bet that's an awesome dream.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey yo, LOL. I would like to learn to paint. I wanted to when I was a kid, and it's because I saw the movie Vincent and Theo.
Oh.
With
Oh.
Tim, I can't remember that actor's name, but anyway, I really wanted to be a good painter, and I painted a lot, and I just I feel like I guess I'll say for me the learning curve was too much. I could never translate what was in my head onto the canvas. It was too fucking crazy. With writing, I could not. And with music, I feel like I eventually could. There was a high learning curve with music, but yeah, painting, I don't know how you do it, because your stuff looks very realistic to me, Jim. Even though you're painting wild stuff, I'd say the style, it's like magical realism on canvas.
Yeah, I went through the phase, I suppose. I was always in the pursuit of realism, like what would be called photorealism now, but I never got that close to it because it's a fucking tedious process and I've got no interest. If you can take a photograph, that's it. Fine. Photograph's fine. I think painting has to be more than that. But yeah, so I went through the phase of wanting things to look realistic. These days, I tend to do slightly more abstract stuff.
But that style's still there, I think. Or are you talking about stuff we haven't seen yet?
Well, I mean, I've got one over here. I'll just pop it out. It's just abstract, you know. So kind
for
of
some reason that makes me think of J.G. Ballard's. Some of J.G. Ballard's covers.
Oh yeah. It could be a book cover, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, this was actually I did off a live stream once. I was just doodling really, so I made it up on the spot.
Huh.
But yeah, I find that more just relaxing, really. I haven't got to stress about it. But occasionally I'll get a commission. I don't get them very often. So this big red one in the background is going to be a Star Wars character. So I'm going to be doing that in the next week or two.
I have a favorite red Star Wars character. I liked the toys, the Star Wars toys, more than the films, to be completely honest. And I played with them a lot. And the first time you mentioned that red painting was on a red radio show, and I've been watching that red painting.
It's just still red.
So my guess is, do you remember I guess they were called, are they called Imperial Troopers? They're the stormtroopers that hung out around the Emperor that were all red. Is that what you're painting?
No.
I think we should have a huge guess, like what Star Wars is what character is he painting on that red canvas?
It's slowly going to take shape eventually. I mean, I've been waiting until I stopped working my other job, so I'll probably start this. I'm definitely going to start this week, so it's going to gradually form in the background, hopefully.
I'm excited for it. Matthew is wondering if you'd have some insight on SF cover art, and if that would make a good video other than all the knobs.
Yes, I see. Yes, Matthew's referring to the video I did about penises in science fiction covers.
I love those videos.
Yeah, I was going to do a part 2 to that, but I don't know if I will. But there are many penises in science fiction book covers.
There really are. Seriously,
loads of them. But yes, I did have an idea. This is one of those ideas that may not come to anything, but I started my interest in like fantasy and science fiction art began with old computer games. So on the Commodore 64, that's where I cut my teeth on video gaming back in the 80s, my labs. And the covers of those little cassette tapes had amazing images on them, and I was thinking of doing a video based on that art, actually, an underappreciated form of art, I would say.
Cassette art.
Yeah, so
that's a great idea.
Yeah, the old games were on like cassettes, weren't they? I don't know
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
did
video
any of
games.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I just had to grab my favorite penis art.
Yes, yes. So, God Emperor of June. Yeah, so the cover, I actually featured that one on that video. The one that I saw was definitely someone being squeezed through the end of a penis. I mean, yeah, it's hard to get away from it with the sandworms, isn't it? I mean, they are
Right.
penises.
Sorry, Matthew. We went right where you told us not to go.
Don't get me started.
So what's the question, I guess? Sci-fi cover art.
Yeah, so that's why I went down the route of talking about the
The video games.
yeah, because there's interestingly, so that was back when video games were oh yeah, cheers Webster. Yeah, see you. Yeah, that was back when, so the cover art of these games was the thing that lured you into playing the game. When you actually played the game, it was fucking awful, usually. Visually, graphically, it was awful, but the covers were incredible, some really good art. So yeah, there's some stuff to be plumbed there. So I might do a video based on that, I think.
Oh yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, it's interesting because I often think about, so one of the people that I really want to have on my channel, and Nick has courted her to be on his channel, and I want to court her as well, and that's oh no, I've just forgotten her name, Bauman. She did a lot of the 80s horror covers. Jill Bauman.
Wow.
She did the cover for When Darkness Loves Us. It's got this broken dolly on the cover there. I always appreciate when the art, like the Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, the Daw version of that. I wear the shirt sometimes of Palmer Eldritch. Like the person that painted that read that freaking book.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't imagine from an artist perspective, like what books would you read and what books would you not read? Because that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right. The amount of work they'd have to do to stay alive.
Yeah.
There's probably not enough time in the day to read every book. So it's a really interesting question. I'd love to hear from a writer or a painter, because we always talk about, well, does this do justice to the book? But I wonder what it was like to be a painter back then. It must have been wild.
Well, you've obviously heard of Chris Foss, you know, so he famously he didn't read any of them. He just churn out the spaceship or something, vaguely science fiction, and that would be it. So I think he said he wouldn't have had time to read all of these books. So and that's why typically a lot of those old covers, they bear no resemblance whatsoever to the content, do they? Very rarely, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking great big spaceship. Yeah, and it does it for me. I mean, I would buy it if it's got a decent spaceship on the cover. So it kind of works, but
yeah,
it's great when it actually does reference directly the story itself.
Well, this is crazy, Sephiros. Funny you mentioned playing my music over painting. The comic artist Richard Elson told me he plays my music when he does the art for Spider-Man and such. That's incredible, man.
Right.
Damn.
Sephiros is a dark wizard.
True that.
Yes.
Nah, screw that. No one must know my creative process. Yeah, I think he's talking about trying to be a writer, a performative writer, and how weird that would be. The artists I've watched have some catch, maybe using humor or storytelling personality. Yeah, it would be so strange to try to make writing performative. I think Ellison was the only speculative writer who ran with a street gang for a bit. Yeah, and wrote about it. His early stuff. Speaking of Ellison, have you guys seen this Studs Terkel roundtable interview with Ellison, Asimov, and Gene Wolfe from 1982? Fascinating stuff. Yeah, I watched it. Gene Wolfe's a quiet fella, but of course Ellison's a loud fella. So, but you're right. All those interviews from back in the day. I love watching Michael Moorcock talk about anarchy. There's a video of him sitting around with Hawkwind talking about money and what money really is and what it means. And I mean, just wild. Like these writers back in the day, they wrote hard and philosophied hard. Like they really talked about some shit. They really did.
Yeah.
I really like that. Loved Killing Commodore from Murakami. It's about a painter and his process to paint. Really great. I got to give that one another try. I DNF'd it. I'm a weird Murakami fan in that and I don't know if it's me or if it's Murakami. Like maybe it's not him, maybe it's me. Same thing happened with Stephen King. I don't know. The Killing Commodore to me did not feel like it was earning its length at all. That shit was so long, and the stuff that usually he wrote about so eloquently, that like writing, about making dinner for 10 pages, and I was 100% in. Now I'm just like, God damn it, not again. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to give it. Jar Jar Binks is kind of red, right? That's Sephiros's guess.
No. I knew Sephiros was a demon.
Darth Jar Jar. Red Lori, yellow Lori is my guess for the painting. Painting titled "A Single Drop of Blood." There are many testicles.
It's done.
That's right. I'm already done with it. There are many testicles in science fiction covers too. There's your sequel, Jim. There it is.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I'm thinking of what is that Clifford Simak novel where they walked on 2 feet or whatever it's called, but they're all balls that roll around. Yes, right, I had a Commodore 64. I had an Atari. I had that original Atari.
Lovely.
Richard Corbin's Den, King of the Monster Penis.
Sounds like that.
Glad to catch a stream. We're glad to have you.
Hello there.
I'm a big fan of old school wizardry art. I know, Jim, you keep bringing up an artist that you love, that you showed that Elric.
Oh yeah,
the Eternal Champion painting. I like that stuff a lot as well. It seems like it was everywhere in the 80s and 90s.
Yes, yeah, that was Rodney Matthews. But you can probably remember the same thing, Chris. Before the internet, if you had to just stumble across these artists because they weren't going to be coming at you. You had to go to a fucking specialist place to even see it, and then to find out about them, you had to buy an art book, which was really hard to get. I don't know what it was like over your way, but it was really hard here.
I'd always look in libraries.
Yeah. If you were lucky enough to have a decently stocked one, that was the place to be. But Rodney Matthews was an absolute beast. I really like Kit Williams as well. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I haven't.
So he wrote a book called Masquerade in the 80s. I think it went worldwide. It was a picture book, ostensibly for children, but there were really complex puzzles that could be solved. And if you worked out the puzzle, it would lead to a buried hair made of gold, solid gold. And it was really incredible. And so the whole world at the time went crazy about it. And people were trying to find this golden hair by solving the puzzle. In the end, it was a fraudster that ended up winning it, finding it. It was bloody awful, really. But he ended up with the golden hair. But
Wait,
Kit Williams then went. Oh, sorry. Hello.
The picture books led to a real location.
Yeah.
With a golden rabbit or hair, or
yeah.
Wow.
So
and this guy cheated.
Yeah. So what it was, right? Interestingly, the artist Kit Williams had a girlfriend at the time, and so when he came up with this idea, he thought, right, when the shadow of this, it was a hill or something on top of the hill, when it reaches this point on noon on this particular time, on the solstice, I think it was, that will be where I bury the hair. So they went for a picnic that time, and he put like a magnet. He buried a magnet so he could find that exact point again. Anyway, this ex-girlfriend remembered him doing that and put two and two together that that's
Oh,
where he would bury it. And so she
oh,
told this other bloke, and then he, yeah, went and found the golden hair. Unfortunately, there's a documentary about it. Actually, you can watch. I've actually got it on my channel. Funnily enough, a
sounds
random thing that
great.
I've got on there. But yeah, if you can find it, it's called Masquerade, I think. And but unfortunately, there was another man who actually worked out the puzzle genuinely, and he was weeks away from giving the answer, and yeah, he didn't win it, unfortunately. But yeah, Kit Williams is a fine
Huh.
illustrator and artist.
I'm gonna go look for that documentary on your channel. That's interesting.
Oh, it's really good. In fact, I don't think I've got it with me now, but I have actually got the Masquerade book. But it's worth looking at because he was a self-taught artist. I think these days he tends to do more like erotic paintings, but even so, they all contain kind of puzzles and symbolism, very complex stuff. Worth
Sounds
checking out.
interesting.
Mm.
Good night, book cover. I'm gonna say it in English. I'm sorry. My German is terrible. I think Frazetta got breakdowns sent to him. Don't think he ever read much of the stuff he illustrated. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Matthews. I don't know what Rodney Matthew did, but of course Roger Dean had a ton. Foss's cover of Asimov's Robot series are my favorites. Michael Whelan is another big one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, his he did the covers, funnily enough, for the Piers Anthony fantasy series that I was really into that made me read that terrible horror book. Ever seen the Robert Crumb movie? I have not.
No.
I mean, it's obviously, although, is Robert Crumb the Rat Fink guy? Did he do all those hot rods and that kind of stuff? I mean, it's obviously going to be Darth Maul. We have another guess.
It's not. No.
All right. I have a Penguin Books Day of the Triffids cover that is very testicular. Chris, I just did a Simac video today. That one is in there. They walked like men. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, little balls rolling all over the place.
They walk like men on their balls.
That's right. I have the Palmer Eldritch Grafton book printing with a Peter Goodiness cover. I don't know what one that is. I don't know what painting that is. I'd buy anything if I found I'd buy anything I found published by Paper Tiger.
Yes, they published the Rodney Matthews stuff actually, and I think that they probably did a lot of other artists' work as well. Yeah.
Let's see. Have we seen the late '60s film Equinox? Great liminal space movie. Fritz Leiber makes a cameo. Wow. Fritz Leiber or his dad? I know Fritz Leiber's dad was a Hollywood actor. And they both are called Fritz Leiber, so people get confused around that one. Maybe it actually is the Fritz Leiber that we know, the writer.
Yeah.
Questing Beast recently talked about a puzzle picture book that might be so complex that no one can solve it.
I saw that. Yeah.
Was the hair at Glastonbury Tour's shadow?
I think it might have been. Yes, because he lives in Gloucestershire. So yeah, it could have been. I think you're right. Yeah, I can't quite remember. Definitely a shadow there. And in fact, he buried it so well. He buried it, and then because this was on a grassy plain or a hill, so it could have been Glastonbury Tor. And then they had a freshly dropped cow pat that they poured over the site. So there was a cow pat over it, so it looked like there was no disturbed soil. For example, they went to extreme lengths to hide it. And
did you say a cow pat?
Yeah, so cow shit.
Oh, really? Yeah, cow patty. Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
we're losing all of our Europeans. Thanks for staying up with us, guys. And thank you, Jimmy. It's getting pretty late, right?
Cheers, Shuffle.
Robert Crumb is the Keep on Trucking and Melting Head Stoned cartoons. Oh, okay. He's not the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, he's Fritz the Cat guy. Okay, no, I'm thinking of Rat Frink is Ed Roth. Thank you, Goblin. Yeah, Ed Roth went Mormon and moved to a very tiny town and died in Utah. There's a museum in this town, and the only reason I know about it is because it's close to the very small town I grew up in.
Right.
So we would go to that museum whenever we went to the town Manti in Utah.
Yeah.
12:20. It's still early. You guys are on summer break, right? All right.
Get it out. Is this the time we get our wands out?
That's right. It's late enough, although it's only 4:20 in the afternoon out here. So, oh no, right. It's 5:20. I'm sorry. I got to get this computer fixed. I almost screwed up last time. This computer's an hour back, and I don't know why it won't figure out my local time zone. So I almost was on the wrong time with our last literally liminal episode because of this dang computer. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Jimmy or I before we leave? 6 a.m. Where are you, Booktuber?
Cranky.
Was Booktuber the one that was in Thailand? That might be.
Yeah. So
4:20 here in New Zealand. No, in Arizona. Yeah, 4:20. Yeah, so I'm on Arizona time for some odd reason. You're my neighbor state here, Gumby Pokey. I didn't know that. Chris is in PST. I'm actually in MDT, Mountain Daylight Savings Time.
Do you do daylight savings time over
New Mexico does. Arizona doesn't.
Really?
Yeah, and they've tried to Emperor Dong of Dune. They keep trying to put it through legislation that we get rid of daylight savings time, and I really wish we would, because
it's a pain in the ass.
Seriously, it's the worst. All right, people have a couple of questions for you, Jimmy, before we go. Jim, tell us about a random book you like.
Crikey,
that's really random.
Yeah, the first one that came to mind, which is dubious actually, is called House of Holes. Who's that by again? It's by Nicholas Baker. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
It's filthy. It's absolutely
all right.
Wait a minute, I've got it yet. Wait, sorry. A minute, let's get it out. I don't know why that popped in my head. Wait a minute. Oh, God. Excuse me.
So I think I've gotten up once and Jim's gotten up twice. Or have I gotten up twice?
Oh, yeah. I think that's 2 for 2, yeah?
Yeah.
This one here, House of Holes.
Oh, nice. Look at that cover.
Yeah, this is going to get you banned, Chris.
I got to put it big over here to get me banned. There we go.
There you go. Get that in you. So, right, a fantastically dirty book. Nicholas Baker, so he did, I've got another of his over here. It's called The Fermata. I don't know why this has popped in my head. I'm sorry, apologies. So The Fermata is about a man that can stop time, and he uses it for dubious reasons. He basically unclothes women. It's dodgy as, but House of Holes is just a kind of, it's a surreal book, and it's all about, well, sex stuff really, but not yes, that's right, he did the Mezzanine too. Yes, that's right. I haven't read that one. He's actually quite a good writer. I quite liked him, but yeah, this one is a hard read. It's just a bit, I don't know, it's just full of cocks and fanny.
So we call bum bags in America, we call them fanny packs.
Yeah, that's endlessly funny to the British.
Well, and I made they asked me right away. My students did, the first class. They were like, "What do you call this?" And I answered, and of course they laughed and laughed and laughed.
Yes, that's right. And if you're unfortunate enough to be called Fanny, it's even worse. That name has more or less died out over here. But you do encounter it sometimes in old English
Right.
or old British literature. You get the odd fanny popping out, but
Yeah.
it's quite a funny name. But yeah, you call it the bottom or the bum is fanny.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fanny to us is the bottom or the bum. There was a comedian talking about being in England and talking about his daughter was acting up, so he gave her a smack on the fanny, and all of the in the room were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Virgil loved your answer to his question.
Oh, okay, good.
Now, Tim wants to know, what is the worst book you've ever read?
House of Holes by Nicholas Baker. I mean, it's not brilliant. I didn't really rate it, to be fair. I think the worst one, I mean, the first one that springs to mind, I can't actually remember the title, but it was a Richard Lehman book. And so that horror writer, and it was stuff slapped all over it I think it was released posthumously by his family or something. So it was like this book that was never released, and it's fucking brilliant, and it was awful, absolutely awful. So it's just a cash grab, I suppose.
Yeah.
He is dead, isn't he? I don't know. Maybe I imagined that bit, but it's fucking awful anyway. But there we are.
I think he is. All girls 70s rock band is called Fanny. I don't know that band.
I bet they slap.
Let's see. How's the house hunting? Sephiros wants to know.
Yes. Well, yes, we found a house, and it's going through. But I don't know what it's like over your end, but it's fucking hellish over here. There's so many kind of rings you got to jump through. And at the moment, it's with the solicitors, and they fucking drag their heels. So hopefully it will go to plan. But the trouble is, until you sign on the dotted line, they can pull out at any time. So we might be moving this summer. We might not be, basically.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if it's easier over here. Right now, it's a seller's market. I know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not much of a buyer's market right now. All the prices are up so high on houses.
It's similar here, actually. Yeah, we're having to pay more than it's worth, really, but there we are. Yeah. My brother was shafted with he was buying a house, and the day they were supposed to sign, because you got to pay for like surveys and things like that, solicitors' fees, and then the day they're supposed to sign, the seller pulled out, and nothing you can do about it.
Wow. So you're all prepared and everything. And
no repercussions for the seller. Nothing. They haven't got to pay a penny, but it's an archaic method. I don't know why they still do it, but there we are.
What's your favorite color paint to sniff, Jim?
Interesting. If you're talking about oil paints, they all largely smell the same, I think, just because of the linseed oil that's in them. But I do get a kick out of burnt umber. I don't know why. I think I use it a lot. It is exactly the color of wood. But yeah, oil paints smell absolutely lovely. I also used to get a kick out of smelling raw turpentine. And I made the mistake once of doing a painting using turpentine, sleeping in the same room. And my Christ, I had a hell of a headache that night.
Oh, I'm sure.
Lethal stuff. Absolutely lethal. I use low odor thinner now. This kind of stuff Bob Ross used to use. And I think he probably used to drink the stuff, splash the shit everywhere. I mean, it's really toxic stuff. It doesn't matter if it smells or it doesn't. It's toxic I see people painting wearing latex gloves, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, my hands are in it. So I don't know whether it's absorbed through the skin or not. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Should explain my liver problems.
Yeah. Any suggestions for vintage weird fiction westerns? All you got to do is scroll up on that one. There was a point earlier where they're trying to get me to read a really weird western, and there's so many good suggestions in the comments. I'm gonna have to go back and write it down, but I am gonna get up really quick. I'll be right back. Hopefully, I can find this easily. If not, I'll just come right back.
Do you want me to sing?
That I've been super interested in. Maybe it's a Western. I just found this randomly at a thrift shop. It's Charles G. Finney, The Ghosts of Manacle.
Ooh.
It's got a crazy cover with a cowboy on it.
I like it.
And then instead of saying the Wild West, they've crossed out wild and it says the Weird West.
Right.
And let's see. Manacle, Arizona is in the heart of the old cowpoke country, but Manacle harbors far stranger creatures than ranchers and rustlers. What about the lady who turns into a dog and those puritanical flying monsters? And why is it to do someone and what the hell? Oh, and why is it dangerous to do someone a favor in Manacle? I mean, this sounds insane. This is something that I've had on my TBR for quite a while. So this is, I mean, it literally says the Weird West instead of the Wild West on the back. So it sounds like Western weird tales. Yeah. It could be awesome. Just don't eat the cadmium colors.
Yeah, some are more toxic than others, aren't they? It's the cadmium ones, is it? Yeah. I've heard that there's a blue that I use, phthalo blue. I think that's quite toxic. And it's a hellish thing to get off your skin.
Oh,
probably
boy.
Because it's eating it.
Manacle kind of sounds like manimal. Has anybody even heard of Charles G. Finney? I feel like this name. I don't know who the heck this is. That'll be a video coming up eventually. All right. Any more questions for Jim and I? This would have been fun if we could have done this in a pub somewhere face to face. Maybe someday. Yeah. I do hope to get over there again sometime.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Set up a camera in a pub
fun.
And then just get lathered. Absolutely bladdered. Yeah, that's the word.
Blathered. Yeah. On a Thursday. That's my drinking night. Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think that about wraps us up. Jim, thank you so much for being here. You got anything cool coming up on the channel you want to talk about?
Not really, no. The usual radio thing will be happening this Thursday.
What is no theme?
Yeah, no theme at the moment, so we're gonna have to work something out. It might be just a free for all. So
that Japan theme went way better than I thought it would.
Yes, I was slightly reluctant at first because I thought it might exclude a lot of people, but my God, everyone was firing stuff at me. And there's plenty more miles in that one, so we're definitely going to do that one again. But I might do another theme. I quite like the science fiction ones as well. Fantasy. But yeah, we'll work something out. But other than that, I don't really have any plans. So yeah, as I said at the beginning, I'm on a downer at the moment, so I haven't planned anything at all. But we'll get something.
Maybe it'd just be a fun free for all.
Yeah, be cool.
Virgil says this was wonderful. Do it again.
Oh, that's lovely.
Funny because watching my kid grow up, there was always things that she would do that I thought, wouldn't it be fun if adults could do that? One of them, of course, being having a tantrum in the middle of the grocery store. Like, wouldn't it be fun if you as an adult could just have a tantrum when you'd had enough? But one of the things that I always loved is whenever I would do something fun with my kid, her reaction would instantly be again, like, do it again. It'd be cool if you could, like, go to a concert and be like, that was super fun, start over, like do the whole thing over again. We were talking a little bit about me jumping over to Jimmy's channel next time, and perhaps doing one of these radio shows with him. That would be really fun, I think.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. You might have heard of Finney because he wrote The Circus of Dr. Lao. No, maybe. I don't know. Progressive Western songs could be the theme.
Ooh.
I don't even know what progressive Western is. Thanks, Chris and Jim and all.
Ah,
I do want to
thank you very
mention
much.
also really quick before I jump off, Virgil and I are doing an episode of Literally Liminal tomorrow. I'll put it up after we're done here. But we're just going to, it's just going to be he and I, and we're gonna try to just ask trivia questions. You know, we're making up our own questions. We're going to do some book cover art where we're going to show you the art and not tell you what it's from, and you have to guess what it's from. And we're going to ask questions, and it's going to be fun. So that'll be tomorrow at the regular time. I'll put that up after this. And again, Jim, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
I'm sure we'll do this again in the future. It's super fun.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. But yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. We'll see you later. Yeah, now we got the uncomfortable moment where we end this